Alright, in this video, by this time you should have your word selected with your font choice, so on and so forth. You should have expanded or traced outline, going to Object, Expand, or Type, and create outlines to make your object into, or your text into actual objects that Illustrator can understand. And then hitting Control 8 or Object, Compound Path, so that in your layers panel you only have a layer and a compound path. You don't have individual characters all as individual objects. In this video we're going to cover creating offset paths, and it is essential that you have to have a compound path treating all these little objects as one object before we move further to make compound paths. So in order to do this, it's very, very quick, very easy. You go to Object, Path, and then Offset Path. And by default, you should always hit Preview to see what your offset path is going to look like. If you don't like it, you can change it. As you can see, boom, boom. It does do some pretty extreme increments, and by and large, I would get used to using pixels. So in this case, I want to do 7px. Illustrator will do the interpolation for you. Hit Tab, and you'll see a preview of what your adjustment will look like. So 5px, and we'll go a little bit smaller. Let's go 3px. Good. So I'm going to hit OK, and now I've created another compound path. Right underneath it, it's already selected. The original compound path is above it. We want to keep the new one selected, and we're going to do it one more time. Object, Path, and then Offset Path. And it has the previous setting already saved, so I like it. I'm going to do it again. Here's a preview, and then hit OK. And there you go. There is your offset path. And get familiar with it. You're going to be using it a lot. Just to see this offset path in action so you can see what it does, I'm going to select the small one, add a color. I'm going to select the larger one, add a color, and oh, those are strokes. What you can actually see is actually not too bad, kind of interesting. But that's not exactly what I want to do. And we'll add this purple. So I've added actually changed just the strokes of the objects. But if I flip them, we get something I think a little more interesting. Boom, flip it, flipping it, and then flipping it. I can play around with it. It's really your call. But offset paths, really powerful device for making seemingly very boring text much more interesting, as long as you're using an interesting color relationship that you found from Adobe Cooler or created for yourself.